Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm your host Dave, and today we have a special guest. This is Drew Carrington from One Inch Heroes.
Hey everybody.
We'll do all the hand gestures. Yay! There we go, jazz hands are awesome. So we brought Drew in because A, he can paint, unlike Rick.
I dabble.
Just kidding, Rick can paint. Rick's getting really, really good. He's learning a lot.
I've seen some of his stuff. He's getting better.
It's nice, definitely, which is good. But Rick currently is he's on his way to Atlanta to enjoy CMON Expo.
Yes.
Yeah, which will be very cool. So tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, hopefully he'll do a few little live streams here and there. We don't have anything scheduled, but he's going down. He's going to play a whole bunch of the CMON games. He's going to spend a lot of time talking to retailers and distributors and that sort of thing, doing the cool schmoozing that Rick does so well.
Yes. Also, Carl says, Rick, you're looking great today.
Yep. He's been exercising. He's been eating well.
Well,
Grew his beard out a little longer.
But so today we are getting into painting some Necromunda Underhive. We spent Tuesday's show assembling some Goliath miniatures, so I've handed those over to Drew to paint. I'm going to be working on some Orlok miniatures. I'm going to do a kind of a twofer kind of thing where I'm going to paint these to show you them on camera, but also I've got a game tonight. So I need to get them painted
it's
for that.
efficient use of time. Win-win.
Exactly. Compact everything. Get it all working together is always what we need to do. So we're going to take the box out of the way. Oh my goodness. I keep complaining about the weight of this box, but it is ridiculously heavy.
Yeah, it does come with an awful lot of fun gubbins.
A lot of cardboard,
Yeah.
a lot of paper, a lot of all the heavy stuff. So I can't remember. So if you didn't see the show on Tuesday, I'm going to pop these over there. Well, actually, I get Drew to pop them over there. Let's put these three on the spinner. These are three of the House Escher models that I've painted previously, just for the giggles. But really beautiful models, fantastic detail.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm thoroughly impressed with a lot of the Necromunda models that I've seen so far, and I still have my original Necromunda models from way back in the day,
1995.
Yeah, they are not nearly as impressive as some of these.
Some of them are still good. I think the Escher actually are probably one of the gangs that really holds up.
Surprisingly they do. My guys, I always felt were a little generic, but they were always super cool to me just because they were they had bald heads and trench coats, and they just looked cool.
Oh,
so I had
Delac.
I used to run a Delac gang. So
I wonder when Genove's going to release those. We've got two more gangs to go from the original 6. So,
yeah, they still have to do. The Van Star just got released.
Van Star released on Saturday,
and so they have Delac and
Cawdor.
Cawdor, yeah.
So it'll be exciting to see those. The Cawdor are the kind of religious zealots.
Yeah, the redemptionists of 40K,
and
tend to favor a lot of flame weaponry. Go figure.
Yep, for sure. Cleansing fire.
The cleansing fire of the Emperor.
Indeed. And the Delac are kind of the sneaky guys, right?
Yeah, Delac tend to favor a lot of stealth techniques, as well as they are more of the shadowy information brokers.
Right.
Of the they embody the knowledge is power.
Okay.
Whereas like Goliaths are strength is power.
Yep.
And
physical
Full House Rock mentality.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Excellent.
Know your stuff. And you'll win.
Yep. Although, having a loaded stub revolver doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Does that mean that they have, higher technology?
The
weapons?
I wouldn't consider anything in Necromunda to be high technology, really.
I don't
Well,
know,
the Van Sar. Vansar. But the Vansar also, one of the things I always thought very appealing about them was they kind of give that, they kind of give like a Ghost in the Shell or like cyberpunk kind of vibe to them, where they tended to favor a lot of like plasma and high, energy weapons, and they tended to have like advanced armor.
Yeah, definitely that kind of feel. The models for them, the new models in particular, really ramp up their sort of connection with the spider icon, the spider motif.
Yeah.
Of
I've noticed that a lot of their helmets have like multiple eyes.
Yep.
Eye inputs on them.
Kind of different visual senses. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they look.
And their armor actually looks a lot like insect carapace, where it's like layered and segmented.
Yeah.
Which I think looks really cool. It's really a unique take on them, and I think it's something that's really going to make them stand out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely compared to something like the Goliaths with their furnace plates.
Right. Yeah. Where
it feels like pieces pulled off a boiler.
Yeah, literally just chunks of metal they've ripped off of things.
Yeah.
Which kind of suits them. They're big vat-grown dudes.
Yep. They look very cool. So, what are you doing with yours? How are you starting?
I'm starting out by blacklining all the things that I'm going to hit with metal.
Right.
Because that way I can go in and just kind of do like a quick dry brush.
Okay.
Of metals, and then that way I can just paint over everything else. Even if I get a little metal on the rest of the body, it doesn't matter because I'm going to cover it with other paint.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of doing the messy parts first.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
That way it's a lot easier to go back and just paint over. Paint covers a multitude of sins.
Yeah. I always find it interesting to see the different ways that people sort of approach their painting.
Oh, yeah.
We had Joe McCulloch, the author of Frostgrave, in a couple of weeks ago, just before Adepticon. And he was doing some painting with us, and he was really surprised that I didn't paint from the inside out.
Right.
So he starts with the skin, and then the first layer of clothing, and then the second layer of clothing, and then armor plates on the clothing, and that sort of thing. Just works his way out from almost the center of the model kind of thing.
I think it also all depends on like what the model is.
Yeah.
Like these guys, they're again, they're kind of big, brutish. They've got big armor plates that are easy to just hit. With quick dry brushes of metals.
Yeah.
And then you could go back and pick out what details they have.
Sure.
So it makes sense, from my point of view, to hit all of these like messy parts first and then clean up as I go, so that way I work out to the finest details.
Right.
From the beginning.
Yeah. I generally try and arrange my my painting in sort of groups, but so that I can come back at the last sort of stage. So you can see that there are some areas here where the flesh has gone up onto the hair.
Right.
A little bit on the gloves, where some of the gray shirt, the gray has gone on to the like the bandolier around here. But I've got to a point where now I can go across the whole model and basically do the correction, paint everything black back in those areas. So one thing I was just doing at the start there was painting these panels on the back of their jackets. So all of the Orlocks have those panels. And I'm still torn at the moment as to whether I should do some hazard stripes on them, doing some some bright sort of black and yellow hazard stripes like these on the base, or if I should. So these guys, this gang are the Ninth Share Door Wardens. So I'm wondering if I should paint Ninth on the back there, on the back of all of their.
No, I think that would be cool.
So it's like
kind of tie them all together.
Yeah. So they're all have come from the same shift or that sort of thing in the manufactorums.
Right.
I think we need. Who do we have in the chat today?
So Carl is here.
Hey, Carl.
Craig is here, and Mel is actually here.
Hey, Mel.
Said, "Oh, you're live. Me too. In 30 minutes."
30 minutes.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And Craig says, I've officially posted all of my home created terrain and minis on Painting Happy Little Minis.
That's delightful.
They should see.
So you needed.
I've seen the terrain. I forget which one, but it was like pretty impressive.
Cool.
Yep.
Excellent. You just need to paint some more.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look what Johnny can do.
What can he do?
He split screen us.
Oh my.
Ah.
Also, Rick is here.
Rick's here.
And Keith.
Hello, Rick.
Which Rick?
Rick.
Like our
yeah.
Rick?
Yeah.
Hey Rick.
Hello, Rick.
Hey boss. How is Atlanta? Are you in Atlanta yet?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
He must have landed by now.
He must have.
Flight was at 12:30.
Oh, okay. Radio.
Maybe he just bought, the in-flight Wi-Fi just so he could watch us.
Right, right.
This is true. That's what I'd do if I didn't trust Dave.
It stands to reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what people in the chat think if I should do the hazard stripes or paint a word on the back of each of them. Be curious to see what people think.
I think hazard stripes, but
Yeah.
it's because I like color.
But the yellow's already there.
Oh.
And I can do hazard stripes on the floor too. So
I think like hazard stripes on the floor is a more universal thing that you could carry across, but putting ninth would really make them stand out.
Craig says
Walk
ninth.
around.
yeah.
Ninth, yep.
Okay. Cool. I'm leaning towards that. But
In my mind, you'd use a different color than black to create the hazard stripe.
yeah.
Yeah, like green or something.
Okay.
I disagree.
What's that, Johnny?
Now we're getting really fancy
He said.
with the shot with the camera angles.
Oh, would you?
Ooh. Check you out.
I'm just gonna leave it like this for the entire show, and I'm gonna go get a coffee.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Also, Kat is on YouTube, and Kat said, "So will Mel be late for his own show?"
Possibly. And maybe, I don't know if he's going to learn anything from me. Maybe he'll learn something from Drew.
There you go.
That's why I like to switch it up.
Mm.
All good. But, yeah. Actually, one of the things I'd show as well today is so for the pants on all of these guys, there I've basically done them like to look kind of like denim jeans, or the coloration at least. So bring that up nice and close.
Nice.
You can't really see it on that guy. A little bit there. Turn it the right way. So I'll show you guys how to do that later on as well. There's a great color from the GW range called Thunderhawk Blue, and just makes it so much easier. Paint that. Just checking out any other areas around here.
Also, Kat says, "So Rick leaves and you get all fancy
Oh,
with
yeah.
the camera work." Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, when we have really talented people in here, I like to go all out.
And when are they showing up?
3 o'clock.
3
3 o'clock once we're
3
done.
o'clock.
I knew it.
Yeah. Thanks for the attempt, Johnny. Sabotage by guest. Damn. I'll get you next time. Okay. But, yeah. Actually, I might just concentrate on one model as well, so I can get through and show some more exciting stuff rather than just painting black around
Right.
the edges of things. We'll concentrate on this model actually. So I'll finish the back on this. I probably shouldn't have been painting this guy because he died in the game last time.
Oh.
Oh yeah, you were saying.
Finish him
he's
up.
the
He'll
guy.
be a proper tribute.
Yeah. I mean, I need to sort of after this next game, I'll be able to go to the trading post and hire him back, or hire somebody
Okay.
that looks a lot like him. Maybe I'll change the hair color or something like that. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing.
Rick says, Rick is watching. Always watching.
Always watching. Big
Also-
brother.
Yeah.
That's
Really
a little,
big brother.
That's a little unnerving.
Also, James is here.
Hey, James.
Hello, James.
Excellent.
Got a quick brush of the metal over the black now.
Okay, cool.
So it picks out just some real quick and dirty details, which I think is appropriate for Necromunda figures because
Yeah.
I don't think any one of the gangs in this game has like spit and polish
No.
on anything. It tends to be oil and grime is
Yeah.
the order of the day.
Agreed. Oh, that's looking good. Looking very cool.
Thanks.
So, why are you a Delark player? I'm not saying it's wrong.
Well, it was back in the day. I was, it was back in the day when there was a lot of like, Vampire the Masquerade was, big,
Oh, okay.
and the Matrix films were just beginning to come out. So trench coats were cool. So, I tended to sport one myself. So.
Right.
So it was naturally, oh, look, all these guys in this entire gang have cool trench coats and goggles, and they just look like, super sneaky guys. And I went, yeah, that seems to fit my
That's
my
the game
play
for you.
style,
Right.
or at least my aesthetic.
Yeah. Interesting.
Was that it? Just you saw them wear cool clothes? And...
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I
Okay.
just liked the models, and I was
Okay.
like, they got trench coats. That seems to be my style, and,
Yeah.
because it was my style. So why not?
Nice.
Nice. That's a good reason.
Do each of the houses have like a saying?
A saying?
Well, isn't the Orlok? Didn't you say the Orloks? They're like,
Oh,
on
have
your
a,
shirt?
have a thing?
yeah.
Yeah, they're when Orlocks are focused on sort of skills and technical abilities and
Okay.
that sort
Well,
of
then
thing.
what's
The Delark are
Delok?
They're like information. So
okay.
they tend to be very good. I think like when they went back to the trading post at the end of the wrap up session when you'd earned income and could spend it, they had a particular knack for like convincing people to give them things so you could you could barter a lot easier
Okay.
with a Delark gang.
That's nice.
It's all about the Benjamins, or it's all about the thrones. I guess. It's all about the
Imperial
Throne
credits.
Guild.
Imperial credits.
Lifeblood of the Hive.
Okay. So there we go. I'm going to give her a red bandana, I think. It's kind of funny. I've just finished painting, putting together an article that will hopefully be in the July issue of Game Trade magazine on layering red.
Red can be one of those tricky colors
Yeah.
to work with.
Why?
Yeah.
I know that might sound like a silly question, but why is it tricky?
So there are certain colors that have where the pigmentation is tricky,
Oh, okay.
or it is thinner. Generally, there's sort of either less pigment or the pigment is more translucent, I guess.
Okay.
So some colors like browns and blues and greens and grays can be painted over black really quickly. One layer, maybe. Reds, however, generally take a few layers. If you were to take like a bright red.
Yeah, they back in the day, one of my first armies that I played was Blood Angels.
Right.
So I had I learned very quickly that red was a color of patience. Red was a Red was a patient man's color.
Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah. Which is why I eventually switched to Crimson Fists, because they're blue and I can paint them in no time at all.
Much better. Yep. You still paint their fists crimson.
Exactly. I still have a little bit of red, but not quite so much red. You know, and as I've gone on, I've learned too. You know, you can start easier with red. For example, by starting with browns
Yep.
first as your underlayer, and then mixing red into those and building up makes it considerably easier to get a nice even coverage.
Yep. You get that. You still have great depth in it. Because if you want a really vibrant red, you start with a white undercoat, a white base coat there. But this one, I'm starting from black. I think that's going to work out okay. Oh, you're going for like a dark green on the...
Yeah, I figure, you know, like all the Goliaths I've seen are red,
Right.
so I thought maybe a nice green would be the order of the day.
Oh, cool. Are you going to go with some pale flesh, some of the colors?
Yeah, because I think I'll go with a paler flesh just because they. I'm probably going to do like some leather colors for them, so I
Okay.
don't want the dark flesh to blend into the browns of the leathers
Right.
on them, and also all the Goliath gangers tend to be vat grown,
Right.
so they while they appear to be large muscle bound humans. I figure that doesn't lend itself to a healthy complexion.
Right.
So maybe living in a jar for most of one's life, and then being introduced to a toxic environment like the Underhive, where there's no sun and lots of chemical pollutants in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are probably not winning any beauty contests.
Healthy pink is not
Yeah,
not the order of the day.
The hale and hardy is not exactly a term thrown around in the Underhive.
Right. That's going to be right. And it's going to contrast well with that dark green.
Yeah.
Very good.
Craig says he thought of making his own chapter of Space Marines using the Green Lantern colors.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Also, apparently Rick is still on the plane.
I knew it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were right. He paid for that.
Splashing out for the
Just to
Wi-Fi.
It's a business expense.
Yeah.
Albeit a poor choice of one.
Hey, look, I'm not your accountant.
Awesome.
I'm just calling it like I sees it. Oh, those are brass colors. Those are definitely not browns.
Oh, you want browns? Oh,
Yeah.
Where are we? Ah, there we go. There's charred brown.
Yeah, that'll do.
And I've got red leather.
Ah, I can make it work.
I have a beige brown as well. If you'd like that. I think I'll actually use that for her hair. Maybe we'll think of that red. Red, a nice pop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
a good one.
nice.
Yeah, it definitely brings a lot of visual interest to the model.
Yeah. So, because everything else is fairly utilitarian. There we go. Cool. I gotta be careful I don't put any green on there.
Christmas.
Just be like, too much of everything. Blues, reds, yellows, greens.
Yeah.
If I did it carefully, it could work. But, carefully is not the way that I like to approach things.
Craig says, I do want one of those figures Dave is painting for my D&D gunslinger.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Nice.
agree. I agree. It looks,
Yep.
yeah.
Obviously, actually, we were just saying that together at lunch.
Yep.
Matter of fact, as I said, I'm very intrigued with those Orlok models, and I'm building a warband for a similar style game, where I said I kind of want a gunslinger in my crew,
Yeah.
and those models would just be perfect to
Yeah.
put together for them.
Yeah. It's definitely good. Yeah. A little bit of. There we go. Excellent. So, what does everybody have planned for this weekend? How much painting is everybody going to be doing?
Yes.
Yes, you'll be doing some.
So much painting.
So much painting.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of painting up the Rebel portion of the Star Wars Legion
Oh, cool.
for us. So if you guys follow my Instagram, you'll see lots of lots of updates on the Rebel forces.
Nice.
And I've been having a lot of fun with building them too, because there's a little bit of repetition to the models. So I've started to like cut some of them up and reposition things just to give them a little variety.
Oh, nice.
More especially on the vehicles.
Okay.
For example, like I did with the speeder bikes. A lot of people liked that because I bent the flying stands.
Yeah.
And so it looked like they're twisting, and then I added things to the base, like bits of trees and large rocks and shrubs. So it had the dual effect of it concealed the flying stand.
Okay.
So it made them look more like they were flying. And then it gave a little more verisimilitude to the models because it looked like they were actively dodging obstacles.
That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, so it was just one of those like little things that you can add to your miniatures that really bring them to life.
Excellent.
I remember seeing your pictures of those. They came out looking really, really good.
Thank you. Yeah, I was real happy with them. Like they were a blast. Because once I started going on them, I was like, okay, yeah, these effects are really going to work, And then once they started coming together, I was like, yeah, I'm really digging these. I like how they're turning out.
Awesome.
So you melted the plastic
Um,
peg that it was standing on?
If you put them in like hot water,
Okay.
and then
Right.
if you're careful,
Right.
obviously,
You just sort of-
because it's very hot, but you can bend a lot of plastic without having to cut or reshape it. And then in the case of the clear flying stands, if you were to hit it with like actual heat, they can glaze over, like where they'll turn white. And then they don't look clear anymore, and it's a lot harder to conceal that.
Yep.
So,
Cool.
yeah, it was a very, very fun little project.
Excellent. Have
Great.
you replaced any of the heads at all?
I haven't.
Seen there are a few third-party vendors that are doing.
I
different
have
heads.
seen that. I actually saw somebody who had they had resculpted a head for a Togruta, which are, if you watch any of the Star Wars Clone Wars, that's the race that Ahsoka Tano and Master Shakti is the Togruta.
Okay.
So they have like those ornamental like horns that drape down.
This is where I get to do what I do to Rick. I haven't seen
Nah,
it. Sorry.
fair enough. But
I'm sure some of our viewers have. Without doubt.
but yeah, that one turned out really nicely.
Cool. That's good. I haven't cracked open
They
my.
have the like horn things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see it, Dave.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
Excellent. I haven't cracked open my own personal Star Wars Legion yet.
Ah,
Still a bit of PTSD from the month and a half of work that we did on it.
yeah, that's understandable.
So much.
So much work. I hope the winner is enjoying those to the hilt.
Oh, wow.
I'm just showing Leona your.
The picture
Oh,
of
yeah.
yours, yeah.
For the bikes. Yep.
Cool.
So that's on your Instagram,
It is
okay, which is at 1 Inch Heroes.
correct.
Excellent.
1_inch_.
Oh, sorry.
Heroes.
Yeah,
My bad.
You could put in 1 inch heroes; it shows up.
I know. But if you want to tag you, put _ James says another convention in Calgary and then an open house for a haunted house I work at
All
on
right.
Mother's
Ooh.
Day.
Cool. It's a little bit early for haunted houses, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's an open house for a haunted house. So it's a haunted house all year round.
Ah.
Does that make sense?
No.
It's like
Is this another thing where I'm foreign?
He doesn't understand our ways.
I understand
No,
your
it's
crazy
like-
culture.
it's not actually like a haunted house, like a Halloween house. It's like people, like ghosts live there. And
Oh, like the
it's a
Winchester house
historic,
or-
a historic house
Oh,
Yes,
that
that
is
is
haunted.
or
Yes.
like Lizzie Borden's house,
Yes.
where it is haunted and people visit it.
Yes.
I get it. Rather than it being a haunted house that people
Correct.
visit.
That yes, exactly.
Context, right?
Yeah.
All about
Context. It's all about the context.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'll eventually learn.
Oh no. Oh, maybe it is not what I was thinking because he said it's a new location. It's for the staff to see it. So maybe it was.
Well, I mean,
So I was right.
I mean, new hauntings happen all the time.
Exactly.
I mean,
True.
There you go.
I've watched Ghost Hunters. I know how it works.
Yeah. So it's not just all from the 1860s.
Right.
Okay. Somebody from 2014,
I mean, why
just
not?
fresh to haunting.
I guess.
I mean, you turn on the recorder and you hear people yelling about memes instead.
Yeah. There you
I was
go.
going to
Yeah,
say
maybe.
that,
I
that
don't
was
know.
us. That was us before the show, right? You said you weren't recording, Johnny. You lied.
I never said that.
Oh wait, we're live.
What? Excellent. Well, I actually, to be completely honest, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing this weekend.
That must be nice.
Oh wait, no. Sunday's Mother's Day.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Yeah. Laura says she wants to go on a picnic, and then the weather says it's going to rain. So,
Isn't that always the way?
Indoor
It is.
picnic?
quite possibly.
There you go.
Yep. We will have a picnic somewhere. Okay, so we're done with the hair, and I'll come back and
That hair looks
paint
good.
on the back there. There's also really cool on the Escher. So this is an Escher head on an Orlock body that I'm using to create an Orlock Juve, a juvenile young ganger. I still need to go through.
From the Apocalypse Eagles game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I ran.
Don't sing it, I'll have to pay royalties.
Well, I'm just talking about what I was singing about what she did in the last game.
Nice.
But
Yeah, Juve's not exactly known for their bravery.
yeah. Actually, she did pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think she was taken out by a grenade though, which is never
Well, who hasn't
good.
been there?
right. Yes. But, so for the base here, just we're going to paint it with one of Rick's favorites, Tinny Tin. As the base color. Then I'll come back and dry brush some gunmetal over that.
And is this the one that's going to have the 9th on it?
Yeah, actually, they'll all have that on there.
Where will the 9?
Oh, I'm gonna be like writing the word 9th across the
Oh.
back there on the yellow.
Oh, on their clothes.
On the yeah. On
I thought
that
you
sort
were
of
talking
yellow
about
metal
on
plate.
the bottom.
On the base.
Yeah.
All right. No. Sorry for the confusion. No, on the base, it'd be pretty cool to do some numbering or lettering that kind of matches the tiles from the game.
Yeah.
I pulled those out the other day, so let's see if they're still in here. I think they are because it's super heavy. Reached out. Oh.
Also, just in case we were wondering, the haunted house is like a Halloween haunted house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's open from September to November.
Right.
So,
Okay. Cool. So I was correct.
good times. Yes, Dave was right.
Just want to make sure that everybody's aware of it. So, yeah, it's possibly like echoing some of these sort of colors and shapes on the table would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
On the bases. But most of what I'll be doing will be texturing them or giving them sort of colors like the regular tiles. There. Put that away. And this is nice and quick to do, so doing it all of them at the same time is a good idea. There we go. What are you going to be doing apart from painting? Are you going to be painting all weekend?
I'm probably going to be painting most of Saturday,
Right.
and then you know, stuff around the house, that sort of thing, and then yeah, Sunday I'm probably going to do some family stuff.
Cool. Oh, I think I just remember the other thing that I have to do this weekend. Is not go and see Infinity War.
Ah, I see.
Just to annoy Rick. I heard it's pretty good though. Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. But does that mean it's good?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not to be trusted.
This is true.
Although I had a friend who like wrote this long critique about how they did not really like the movie, but their critique was very much like, it's not a film. Like, it didn't do anything amazing. And I was like, literally, it was a superhero movie. I don't know what you were expecting, like, when it
Yeah,
comes to great
look,
filmmaking.
Look, it's not Citizen Kane.
Right.
We all know this, you know.
I'm like, we don't go to watch Avengers
This
for film masterpieces.
Yeah,
We go because I want to see the Guardians and I want to see Thor smash things.
Right.
Right.
I go, I get a big tub of popcorn, and I eat it, and I pretend I'm 8 years old, like when I was reading the comics. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The best part that I've seen coming out of all this was there's, I believe it was a New York Times movie reviewer or critic.
Oh.
that basically reviewed the movie saying they weren't great because they relied too heavily on all the other previous films to set up the characters and the premise.
Right.
And the internet just ate this guy alive, like, as if he had no idea what the premise of the sequel was.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I hated having to go see Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 and not know who is this Lord Voldemort.
That's true.
Right.
Yep.
That's a good point.
That was from the New Yorker.
Oh, okay.
New Yorker, yeah.
Yeah.
Because when somebody sort of first pointed that out to me, I was like, well, the New York is known for its satire, right? But apparently this
This
review
was not
is not
satire.
Ooh, how's he come along? I just got a glimpse of him on the screen.
Oh, he's coming right along. I've got the flesh. One of the things I tend to do on my minis in order to save time
Yep.
is I'll block out all the colors,
Yeah.
and then I tend to go over and do the washes
Okay.
real quick. I tend to favor like Agrax Earthshade from Games Workshop is a real good one. Because it's one of those like magic washes where, yep, it tends to do real well over most colors.
Right.
So I will block in all the colors, and then I'll just hit him with one wash,
Yep.
and then that way he could dry all at once, and then all I got to do is pick out details and
Right.
move right along.
Cool. Yep. Yeah, Agrax Earthshade is definitely a great one.
I'm a fan.
Yeah. I think the colors you've chosen, the silver, the green, the flesh colors,
Orange.
the orange, the sort of the leather. What's going to become the leather color?
Yeah.
Is that with the red leather?
That is, yeah, I did the red leather, and I'm using, just for a little bit of variety on his pouch, I'm using tan.
Right.
So it looks like a nice soft leather.
Cool.
Dave, real quick, the miniature you were just painting, let me put that back on camera.
Oh, sorry, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frayed effect at the bottom of his jacket, I just want to say that looks really good.
Oh, down here?
Yeah,
Down
like the
Yeah.
worn
Yep.
look of that just makes it really look like worn fabric. That
So
looks really good.
the cracked sort of leather feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something I think I mentioned before, but it's one of my favorite European painters, Roman Lepat, from the Massive Voodoo blog. I took a class with him once at Adepticon, I think, and he finished about 10 minutes early, and he was like, "Well, we've got about 10 minutes to go. I can talk about something else." And then he sort of threw out 3 different things that he had ready to go. And it was like, well, let's talk about leather, painting leather. And the big trick that he had was that rather than just mixing in a lighter brown, like, where to put it? So if we've got dark brown, like charred brown here, rather than just mixing in a lighter brown to highlight it, instead you mix in some flesh colors and sort of do it in a more patchy kind of fashion, and it gets that cracked, scuffed look, and it looks particularly good on sort of larger scale models as well, like 54 millimeter or 90 millimeter busts and that sort of thing. When you're doing leather bands, leather belts, bandoliers, that kind of thing, it's perfect for the cracked edges along those. So I tried to sort of replicate that in a sort of a smaller way on the back of the cloak. There we go.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, leather is skin.
Yep.
You know, it's just skin from an animal, so it's going to react the same way that skin would.
Yep.
So using skin tones for it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. But yeah, worked out well. So I've got that. I'm going to grab some of the red leather. This is my favorite color for using for rusting for things. So the bases on the Escher models that I've got here. There we go. You can see some of that sort of rust in the sort of in the depths there.
Yeah, just give that a quick wash.
Just a wash with a thin wash of the red leather. Works really well. Let's find that.
I think I'm going to get some of that tinny tin.
Oh, tin from all the way over there. There we go.
Thank you.
But that works very nicely. So in my game tonight, I have a feeling that I'm going to be the person with the lowest gang rating. And usually in Necromunda, the person with the lowest, or during a campaign, the person with the lowest gang rating gets to challenge whoever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
In the campaign, they get a challenge first.
And you get the underdog bonuses.
Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what those will be for our campaign, but so my choices are: I've got a Dalark gang that I went up against last time round, a Goliath gang, which is going to be all sorts of brutal
Oh yeah.
nastiness up close, or a Gene Stealer cult gang.
These are not good options.
No, no. Well, that'd be why I've got the lowest gang rating, right? But yeah, so I'm not sure who I should challenge. I think I'm leaning towards the Gene Stealer cult.
I mean, if you wanted to start your whole gang over, yeah, sure.
I don't want to. I may have to.
Say if they're all brutally murdered in the dark by Gene Stealer cultists, then yeah, sure, go, yeah, play them.
No. Well, the funny thing is, the last game I played was the first game of the campaign, and I kind of did that brutal murdering to the Dalark gang. But because I spent my focus at the end of it was trying to get my Juve to the dock and get him healed up, I didn't get the chance to hire anybody else into my gang.
The worst.
So that meant my gang rating went down, whereas my Dalark opponent, he just focused on recruiting people back into the gang.
Yep.
And his gang rating is higher than me, even though I beat him. I
Wow.
don't know how that works. It's crazy. Boo.
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 What does the gang rating mean exactly? Like the next round you're given worse?
It's it's based on like the number of guys in your gang,
Okay.
the equipment you're carrying. It's basically your gang's street cred.
Okay.
Like how tough they are, what's their reputation, and if they can genuinely back it up. So
it's really just using a campaign setting to determine who plays who.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
and also you mentioned the underdog bonus. So if I had a gang that had been completely brutalized last game, my gang rating is going to be reduced. It means that if I go and play somebody who has a much higher gang rating, that underdog bonus will grow. But the way that you can tell what you need to get in that underdog bonus is by the difference in the gang ratings.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, it's sort of it helps keep it even, basically. Kind of like it's kind of like how they do like seeds in college basketball. They don't want
Right.
they don't want the two top teams playing each other right out of the gate, so they match everybody up, in how they're doing.
yeah.
That makes sense.
I assume. I don't watch college basketball. But I hear that's how it works.
You say that now. You mean you don't watch it in April?
I'm sorry. When is it on? Is it a thing?
Well, you know.
No, I really don't. I have no idea when it's on.
It,
I meant what I
it's a
said. I
win-
don't watch it.
It's like considered a winter sport, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
so it's like
Well, there
it's
you are.
over now.
It finishes in March.
Yeah. Which this year,
Ah.
With
winter did.
the March
happen
insanity.
in-
With the madness.
Yeah,
yes.
March Madness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Whoops.
With the spring crazy.
So you don't have to follow it, but you have to be aware of like
Trends.
reality.
I don't gotta do nothing.
I just gotta paint.
That's right.
I'm just
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Excellent. Thank you, Adam Savage. I wait for that wash to dry a little bit. But, there we go. Radio.
Now, Dave, do you usually use one wash?
Typically, no. I'll admit. It depends on the project.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll. It's a good time saver, really, to put down a single base coat on all of the colors, and then one wash over the top with a big thick brush is a wonderful time saver, without a doubt. Sometimes though, I'll, like for each of these models, for example, the Escher, I just went through and would have painted sort of color by color, and I'll go through and put the base color, a highlight, another highlight, maybe a wash, maybe a highlight, that sort of thing. But then get all of that section done, move on to the next color.
Okay.
So, and one of the other cool things about painting single base coats and then putting a wash over them all is once you've got that wash over, you're almost done, and you can see that the model looks like it's almost finished.
Yeah, I find that in so doing, one of the things that's really handy about it, in addition to being a time saver, which is one of the reasons I'm doing it today, and because I only have so much time to paint one guy, and I want him to
And you
get him
have to paint one.
halfway
If
decent.
you don't, it's a bad
Right.
thing. you
I thought-
will never
I'm
see
blinking
Drew again.
that I'm a hostage in Morse code.
I thought we were going to introduce a new policy, like guests can only return if they finish their model.
Yes.
We'll
Guests
find
can
a
only
note
return
that.
home if they
There would have been a lot more dry brushing.
Yeah, if this camera panned down, you would see Drew's like ankles like
Shackled to the desk.
paint.
But yeah, it's not only a time saver, but in putting the wash over the whole model, once you have base coats on everything, as you can see, like there's a lot more detail starting to hop out of my miniature. So it makes it a little easier to paint highlights because then you can see where the low areas of the model are.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if you haven't painted directly down into all the cracks, like for example between where the skin on his shoulder meets his suspenders there, the brown wash will settle into those cracks and give the illusion of shadow, so you don't really need to be as accurate right up against those lines. So it'll end up looking really good, and it looks like, wow, you did so much work on these guys, but, it's sort of a nifty little hobby trick, because one of the greatest tricks I ever learned too was when you paint them, they need to look good at arm's length on a table.
Right.
You know, because when you're playing, you're not necessarily sitting there going, you know, at every single dude.
Yeah.
So this way you can paint them relatively quickly, still have them look good, but they don't need to be absolute masterpieces in order to hit the table.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. This may be a stupid question.
Sure.
But in terms of using a wash,
Mhm.
you have to like be careful in terms of like rotating a figure and making sure that those where it settles is even.
I mean, you can. It can affect it on like some larger models, especially. I also tend to use at home. I use a little bit of glaze medium in it, which will slow down the drying time of the wash, so it takes a little bit longer to settle. But when I do so, it breaks up the surface tension of it, so it doesn't pool in weird places, and then you don't end up with like a lot of wash in a place that shouldn't have it. And it also doesn't like sink, you know, all the way down into the recesses and then just gather there and nowhere else. So by putting that on, it tends to clean up the wash a little bit, and it makes it look a little nicer.
Yeah. So I think we've used something like that before from the Army Painter range. Their glazing medium. But yeah, it's particularly advantageous on larger, flatter areas.
Right.
Yep. So. But yeah, there are definitely times that I'll go through and
Actually,
and use a wash over a lot of areas for my models. For example, on these guys, I painted the jackets, so they're vests in that same way as the trench coat for my leader, and then painted the silver, basically like a flat base coat of the silver, and then put a black wash over all the silver and over the brown vest as well, to sort of dull that vest back down a little bit. So now I got to come back and highlight up the silvers once I finish this.
yeah. I'm going to go back and
stepping on the bases.
pick out some of the highlights in green now that the wash has had a chance to settle. Because the green is one of the larger aspects of color on him with all of his armor panels.
Yep.
So this way it looks like he's got just he's got a little bit of a highlight to him. And it looks like, yeah, I've actually accomplished something this painting session.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Well, you definitely have. Looks great.
Thanks.
Very cool. It's going to be fun for Rick to have a model to copy from.
Yeah,
when he gets
definitely.
back.
Give him a good jumping off point.
Yep.
Yeah, because sometimes that can be intimidating. You know, when you get models and you're attempting to paint them all in like an interesting new color scheme.
Yep.
Is you know, sometimes you get them and you're like, oh, I don't even know, you know, what colors should I use, and it's all just experiment, have fun with it.
Yep. Definitely. Sorry, I'm being a bit quiet here, but I'm working on these hazard stripes. One of the things that you can you might see that I'm doing there is the way that I've got my hands sort of anchored. So my left hand is holding the model, is resting on the table, so it's not going anywhere. My other hand, I want to be able to move it around. I don't need to move it too much, but I'm basically anchoring that, connecting my finger there, my little finger to the piece, so that I can just move slowly with the...
I do the same by propping up my small finger against the usually against the base of the model.
All right. Okay.
And then that way, when you're painting, you get a lot of control because only the brush, these three fingers controlling the brush, move.
Yeah.
So you can actually, you know, once you get comfortable with keeping your hands in a nice braced position while painting, you can actually move through painting relatively quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, when I was painting that one time when Dave left us, that was what I found the hardest.
Hey, rest in peace. Oh, wait, no, that's cut.
Oh, too soon.
was-
Too soon.
I'm so glad.
Yet.
That's
So-
what I found hardest was the shaking. Like I have like a natural tremor. I mean, we all do, but like mine's really noticeable.
Right.
It was like I can't not shake. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So for you, having both hands sort of resting and connecting them in that triad of sort of
Yeah.
action. Look at that. I'll show my t-shirt.
Ah,
Household
nice.
Lot t-shirt.
Eee.
Yeah, that's it was very helpful for that sort of thing.
Carl says I always anchor my wrists together so that the brace point is super strong.
Yep. Oh, so like
I think
like
they
this?
just like that.
Yeah, yeah, that works as well.
Yep. I've seen a lot of people do that. Okay, I'm going to try and paint ninth on the back of my Juve here. Wish me luck. Actually, before I do that, just before I do that,
You can do it.
And paint some shade in the eye socket there. Go.
We all hold our breath.
Now, how's this looking? How's that looking for the overhead, Johnny?
He said.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Take me back to those the speed painting
Right.
that we did in here with the Space Marines a little while back.
That was Halloween.
Yes, it was.
Speaking of haunted house.
Yeah.
It's nice that it's not like 12 or 15 or something like that. That would be a little harder.
Yeah, it would. Oh, look at that. Look at the zoom in. Zoom.
Nice.
Ninth. Now, I will go and admit that I've painted a lot of letters on things. So I have a kind of a particular, not so much a font, but I have a way that I
Yeah.
will always paint N's that look like that and I's.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, these letters are all very easy, but there's a way that I'll do my A's. My A's are a little bit more like that.
Ah.
See, Johnny can zoom in on that. Zoom in closer. Closer. Dance.
Ah.
Dance. Camera monkey, dance.
That's as far as it goes.
Good job.
So I tend to.
So, yep. Oh, we have a fancier A. Yeah. We're going to paint A's. That's great.
Now you have to paint the whole alphabet so you show us your font.
Dave font.
Yeah. Duh font.
Well, the other thing that's maybe we'll start painting words. Is that it's the important thing to do is that if you've got a certain area that it fits in, you've got to work out where the middle of that area is. Work out what the middle letter of your word is,
Yes.
so that can go in there. And sometimes, for larger words, it's best to start from the middle and work outwards, so that you don't end up with start at the front and then all of a sudden you've got
Yep.
really tiny letters at the end. Or
I recently painted a Space Marine chapter banner for the Lamenters, which is a rather sizable word to paint when you only have about an inch of scroll work on the banner. So yeah, I started in the very middle with M and worked or N.
N.
And worked
Yeah.
my way out to Turs on the one side, lame on the other.
yep.
As someone who's made signs before and like happy birthday signs started
Oh yeah,
happy birthday. It's not so
my
Happy birthday.
yeah.
my wife constantly laments that she's a tattoo artist. So she always has to make sure that there is exactly enough room to do the lettering
Yep.
before she goes in.
Yeah, that's not just a paint over and do again.
Yeah, paint covers a multitude of
Do
sins.
over.
Ink, on the other hand,
Shows.
well, I actually, there was a joke tattoo that I said I'm going to get across my knuckles, like when I retire, where it's, for the planning, it's going to say "plan ahead"
Nice.
on the knuckles.
Nice.
Yeah. I know that's a long way to go for a joke, but I'll be retired. What do I care?
Yeah.
That sounds like the tattoo that I wanted to get that said, "This is my tattoo."
Right. You just made me think of a Stephen Wright joke, an old Stephen Wright joke. I want to get a tattoo of my whole body of me, but taller. Wish I could have done the voice. It's kind of the integral thing for Stephen Wright.
Yeah. I spilled spot remover on my dog. Now he's gone.
Excellent. Okay. I come through with the paint the skull on their belts with the brassy brass.
Brassy brass.
Brassy brass.
So now,
There we go.
now we got a little bit of color to him.
Yeah, it
Looking,
looks really
looking
good.
nice.
Cool. Oh, a little bit of blue hair.
Yeah, did a
Blue
little
hair.
blue hair. I figure it works with the green.
Yep. And the orange.
That's another thing too that's very handy when painting miniatures is to if you can get your hands on one. I'm sure that you could print one off online for free. Is artist color wheels. Which are very handy because it allows you to easily pick out, hey, there we go.
The complementary
Speak of the
and
devil.
analogous color.
Yeah, it allows you to spin around and you can figure out what's a complementary color for your miniature. So, like I said earlier, sometimes it can be hard to pick out like what can make this miniature look good. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to start with green, for example. And then
Look at that.
and then as you can see, one of the complements to the green is the oranges and reds that I used for the leather.
Yep.
So it works nice. And then across from it is the blue. So which is my little spot color for his hair,
Yep.
which makes that pop out.
Still works with that orange. Mm-hmm. Great. And yes, that is from the American Girl doll store. Stolen from my daughter.
Hey, you know
just
what?
noticing.
If it works, it works, and it doesn't matter where it came from.
Yep.
So use what works for you and your hobby.
Wait, what are you
I mean, I
laughing at?
use
I just,
for when I apply pigment weathering
You're a
powders
true dad.
to my models. I use makeup brushes
Yep.
because they pick up pigment very easily,
Yeah,
and then
I
they
never thought
apply
about that.
very very easily as well.
Yep. Yeah, they're definitely good for that. Mm-hmm. Definitely good. Friend of the show, Terry Latorco, always recommends buying makeup brushes for dry brushing. For dry brushing. Loves that. Yep. There we go. So you haven't seen that color wheel before, have you?
no.
That's funny.
No, I haven't. I just imagine, like, your daughter is like, where is this thing? And then you're like, haha.
What thing? I don't know.
Wait, what?
Color wheel?
Right.
It makes no sense.
It's like how your kids' toys mysteriously just stop working when you remove the batteries that make the noise. I don't know, honey. I think it's broken.
I would never do that. Much.
I'm also
Gonna say,
imagining them,
I
like,
call malarkey, good sir.
I'm imagining them opening up, like, this gift, and then you're like, oh, there's a color wheel in there? I'm gonna get my hands on that.
Take that. No, they. I think they got it actually when they were at the American Gold Doll store.
Oh, cool.
And I did ask if I could borrow it,
Yeah.
but that was like 6 months ago.
If she's not using it, she won't miss it.
No,
Yeah.
it's true. She probably won't. I don't know why. I just found it really funny.
Oh no, for sure.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
funny.
happen.
But no, I've used it a few times to explain different things to Rick. on the show.
Nice.
It was just funny. I haven't pulled it out obviously for quite a while.
Yeah.
A few months. So. Yeah. I think so the silver's looking pretty good on here. I might just need to darken it up a little bit in certain areas, but it's coming along pretty well. I'm going to there we go. Hit some of the edges on the base, so it kind of has a scuffed kind of look. Which again will give that kind of the bright silver look against the darker rusted areas.
Is it time?
It's time?
It's time.
Time.
It's like
Oh,
past
man.
time.
Oh wow, we are so past time.
Yeah.
I am so very sorry.
Wow, we sure are. Ooh.
I should have been looking up a little bit more. I bet
Sorry, that was also my fault.
Johnny's been standing there. Like, "Ah!" Okay.
Yeah, you need to come up for air.
I haven't cared. I'm enjoying watching you guys paint.
Johnny said you could paint as long as you want.
I mean, I'm down.
Also, it's Rick that stops us all the time. Isn't it? Okay.
I blame Rick.
I blame Rick as well.
No, we're just cutting into Mini Painting Studios airtime now.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Sorry, Josh. Sorry.
Oh, he doesn't know. He's probably already started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to put them on the
Yeah, sure thing.
dinner?
Okay, let's grab those off. And
Yeah.
put her up there.
A couple people are like, man, it's gone for a really long time. Yeah, kept going.
Okay, so there we go on the spinner. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, looking very nice.
Yay, you can see the knife. That's good.
What's that? The
You
knife?
can see the words,
You can
yeah.
see the word? Excellent. Cool. Okay, so thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. I hope everybody had a good time. Thanks very much to Drew for joining us. Drew
Absolutely,
from,
always a pleasure.
1H Heroes. If you want to go and check out Drew, look for that logo. Pull the mug out. So we can see it. There we go. Look for that logo. 1H Heroes on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We've
Twitch.
even, we're on Twitch and YouTube now.
Woohoo!
So-
All the places. How do you find the time?
I don't.
I struggle to get here
Yeah.
on a Thursday. It's terrible. But no, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for joining us. And remember to go and join the Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook group. Just with Rick being away, I'll probably be the one approving you, or
Yes.
possibly Leona might be. So we'll get you into that group nice and quickly. Share your progress, share your work, enjoy the work of others.
Indeed.
Ask questions, answer questions. It's absolutely super cool. But yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Before you go, we wanted to tell you about our new book, The Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games, which is available to pre-order right now.
You obviously love tabletop gaming, so do we. And this book provides a look at the history of all the different types of tabletop games, from card games like Magic the Gathering to role-playing adventures like Dungeons & Dragons, to the most classic of board games like Clue or The Game of Life.
Right. We've also got interviews with a lot of industry veterans like Peter Atkinson and influencers like Matt Mercer, plus discussions with collectors and gamers of all kinds. The book also discusses the impact of crowdfunding on the industry and looks into why board gaming is experiencing such a boom right now.
We put a lot of love, a ton as a matter of fact, into this book, and we like to think that it provides a perfect snapshot of what makes tabletop gaming and the tabletop community so great. You can pre-order your copy right now by using diamond code APR181585. So head into your local comic or game shop today and tell them you want the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.